Welcome to Forgotten Moments. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more incredible historical discoveries like these ones. Tesla's wireless electricity demonstration in Colorado Springs, 1899. The experiment was so powerful, it shut down the entire town's electrical grid for 3 days and caused every compass within 50 miles to spin wildly. The Beatles' recording session at Abbey Road Studios interrupted by fire drill in 1965. The alarm went off during the perfect take of Yesterday. It took 47 more attempts to recreate that exact sound. Construction workers eating lunch on steel beams 200 feet above Manhattan in 1952. The lunch break lasted exactly 30 minutes, but it took 15 minutes to climb down and back up, so they ate suspended in mid-air. Computer operator managing IBM's latest mainframe in 1975. This machine filled an entire room, weighed 5 tons, and had less processing power than a modern digital watch. Edison's 47th light bulb prototype in his Menlo Park laboratory, 1879. The bulb burned so bright it attracted every moth, beetle, and flying insect within a 20-mile radius for 6 consecutive hours. Radio operator receiving coded transmissions during monsoon season, Vietnam, 1968. The atmospheric interference was so severe that messages sometimes arrived 20 minutes before they were actually sent from headquarters. The Wright brothers' third test flight at Kitty Hawk, December 1903. A mechanical malfunction caused the flyer to fly perfectly backwards for 30 seconds. Orville couldn't figure out the controls to make it go forward. Steelworker pouring molten metal during thunderstorm, Pittsburgh, 1978. The electrical storm actually improved the steel quality. Lightning strikes helped remove impurities from the molten iron. Milkman making deliveries during the Great Blizzard of 1958 in Boston. The storm buried cars under 8 feet of snow, but daily milk deliveries continued. Some customers didn't see their milkman's face for 3 weeks. Charlie Chaplin teaching comedy timing to factory workers during lunch break, 1925. The 20-minute lesson improved assembly line efficiency by 40%. Workers began using comedic rhythm to coordinate their movements. Marilyn Monroe teaching method acting to Ford assembly line workers, Detroit, 1963. The 3-day experiment ended when productivity increased 400%. Management feared professional actors would replace factory workers. Window washer cleaning Empire State Building during electrical storm, 1947. Lightning struck the building 12 times during his shift, but the metal frame conducted electricity safely around him. He never felt a shock. Alexander Graham Bell's first telephone test, March 1876. His assistant, Watson, answered the call 3 rooms away, but Bell hadn't spoken into the device yet. The phone somehow transmitted his thoughts. Jazz saxophonist performing for dairy cows on Iowa farm, 1972. The daily concerts increased milk production by 60%. The cows produce more milk when listening to jazz than classical music. Painting the Golden Gate Bridge during 60-mile-per-hour windstorm, 1936. The bridge swayed 15 feet in each direction but workers discovered paint dried faster in high winds, completing the job 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Military medic treating wounded soldier in helicopter over Korea, 1951. The helicopter's vibration actually helped seal wounds faster. Medics discovered that 15-minute flights had better survival rates than ground transport. First Ford Model T rolling off the assembly line, Detroit, 1908. The car started moving on its own before anyone added gasoline. Workers had to chase it through the factory for 200 yards. Television broadcast technician calibrating equipment for live transmission, 1979. The signal was so powerful it accidentally broadcast the test pattern to 3 neighboring countries. Viewers thought it was alien communication. Navy pilot landing on aircraft carrier during Pacific Storm, 1944. Waves were so high they crashed over the flight deck, but the pilot made a perfect landing, using the ship's roll to help guide the plane down. Stone carver working on Lincoln's face at Mount Rushmore, 1939. When removing the outer rock layer, workers discovered Lincoln's features were already naturally formed underneath. They only had to polish the existing stone. Marie Curie conducting radium experiments in her Paris laboratory, 1902. The radium samples glowed so intensely they could be seen through the laboratory walls. Neighbors reported strange green lights for weeks. Circus elephant helping construct barn in rural Indiana, 1976. The elephant could lift beams that required 6 men to move, completing the barn construction in half the expected time. Telephone operator handling 500 simultaneous calls during emergency, 1955. A citywide disaster overloaded the system, but she managed to connect every call, working for 18 straight hours without a break. Passenger photographing the landing approach of the Hindenburg, May 1937. This photograph was taken just 15 minutes before the disaster. The passenger's camera survived the crash and revealed the final moments. Coal miner completing 16-hour shift in West Virginia mine, 1979. The mine's ventilation system had failed, but workers continued digging by candlelight to meet production quotas for heating oil during the energy crisis. Chicago Fire Department testing new ladder truck on skyscraper, 1974. The ladder extended so high it accidentally rescued a window washer who had been trapped on the 20th floor for 3 hours. Dance marathon contestants after 48 continuous hours, Atlantic City, 1977. The couple had worn through 3 pairs of shoes each and were dancing in their socks, but refused to quit with only 12 hours remaining to win. Postal worker delivering mail by dog sled through Alaska, 1935. The 200-mile route took 6 days in winter, but the mail never missed a delivery, even during blizzards that lasted weeks. Walt Disney sketching the first Mickey Mouse drawing on a restaurant napkin, 1928. The waitress saved the napkin and sold it 50 years later. It became the most expensive napkin in history. Radio technician maintaining broadcast tower during electrical storm, 1983. Lightning struck the tower 47 times during his repair work, but the tower's design actually amplified the radio signal, improving broadcast range by 200 miles. chief engineer testing Brooklyn Bridge cable strength by jumping on them, 1883. He jumped for 30 minutes straight while the bridge swayed 8 feet, proving the cables could support 10 times the expected load. Ice cream vendor serving customers during New York heat wave 1936. Temperatures reached 106 degrees, but his ice cream never melted. He had secretly added salt to lower the freezing point. Einstein explaining relativity theory to factory workers at Princeton 1940. The workers understood the concept so well, they suggested improvements to his equations. One suggestion led to a breakthrough in atomic theory. Newspaper boy selling papers during San Francisco earthquake aftermath, April 1906. He continued selling newspapers while the city burned around him, earning enough money to buy his family train tickets to safety. Movie theater pianist playing during power outage, 1924. He performed the entire 2-hour film score by candlelight while the projectionist hand-cranked the film. The audience gave him a standing ovation. Henry Ford testing Model T durability with assembly line workers, Detroit, 1913. The car carried 15 workers at once through the factory floor, proving it could handle any load customers might demand. Amelia Earhart teaching engine maintenance to aircraft mechanics, 1935. She could disassemble and rebuild an entire airplane engine in 4 hours, faster than most trained mechanics of the era. Rural Kansas family listening to their first radio broadcast, 1922. The radio signal traveled 500 miles from Chicago. They heard music from farther away than they had ever traveled in their lives. Telephone repairman restoring service during ice storm, 1981. Ice accumulation was so heavy it snapped 200 telephone poles, but he worked for 36 hours straight to restore communication to 10,000 customers. First in-flight meal served at 10,000 feet, 1914. The passenger paid $50 extra for a sandwich and coffee, equivalent to $1,200 today, making it the most expensive meal in aviation history. Titanic crew testing lifeboats at Southampton, April 9, 1912. The test revealed lifeboats could only hold half their rated capacity, but the ship sailed the next day without additional lifeboats. Telegraph operator sending first transcontinental message, 1869. The message, "What hath God wrought?" took 3 minutes to cross the continent, faster than any human had ever traveled, coast to coast. American soldier writing letter home by candlelight, France, 1917. He wrote 200 letters during the war, but only mailed one, keeping the others as a diary that survived 100 years in his family. Military photographer documenting D-Day landings, Normandy. June 6, 1944. His camera was hit by shrapnel, but kept working, capturing 200 photos that became the definitive record of the invasion. President Roosevelt meeting construction worker at Hoover Dam, 1935. The worker suggested design improvements that saved 6 months of construction time. Roosevelt hired him as a permanent engineering consultant. 16-year-old Elvis Presley, learning piano from church organist, Memphis, 1948. The organist taught him gospel chord progressions that Elvis later used in Can't Help Falling in Love and 15 other hit songs. NASA astronaut practicing moon landing procedures underwater, 1967. The underwater training was so realistic that astronauts often forgot they were on Earth. One tried to plant an American flag on the pool bottom. Hollywood stunt, double attempting motorcycle jump over 15 cars, 1974. He cleared all the cars but landed in the catering tent, destroying 200 box lunches but emerging without a scratch. Carnival fortune teller assisting police investigation, 1952. Her crystal ball visions led detectives to solve 6 missing person cases. She became the first psychic officially hired by a police department. Submarine cook preparing Christmas dinner 200 feet underwater, Pacific Ocean, 1943. He cooked a 7-course meal for 80 crew members using only canned goods. The submarine stayed submerged for 3 extra days to finish the feast. Circus elephant learning to type at Ringling Brothers Circus, 1978. The elephant typed 40 words per minute and wrote a 200-word letter that was published in Time magazine, becoming the first animal journalist. Drive-in movie projectionist continuing show during thunderstorm, 1965. Lightning struck the projection booth twice, but he kept the movie running. 300 families stayed in their cars to watch the entire film in the rain. Meteorologist launching weather balloon during 80 Mauve winds, 1971. The balloon flew backwards and landed in the same field 20 minutes later, providing the most accurate local weather reading in history. Librarian organizing 2 million catalog cards before computerization, 1969. She memorized the location of every book in the library and could find any title in under 30 seconds, faster than modern computer searches. Factory safety inspector personally testing every dangerous machine, 1976. He operated 47 different pieces of heavy machinery in one day to verify safety protocols, discovering 12 potential hazards that saved countless injuries. Telephone repairman fixing phone booth during blizzard, 1982. He worked inside the booth for 6 hours while snow buried it completely, emerging when rescue crews dug him out the next morning. Professional Santa Claus training session at Macy's, 1970. The course lasted 2 weeks and included child psychology, gift knowledge, and beard maintenance. Graduates earned more per hour than most college professors. Construction crane operator rescuing cat from 60-foot tree, 1979. The cat had been stuck for 3 days, but the crane operator lowered a basket and successfully rescued it, becoming a local hero featured on evening news. Carnival mechanic repairing Ferris wheel while customers still riding, 1973. He fixed the motor by climbing the moving structure and completing repairs in 20 minutes. Riders never knew they were in potential danger. Barbershop. Quartet performing live radio broadcast while cutting hair, 1929. They sang between haircuts for 3 hours, attracting so many customers that men waited 4 hours for a 15-minute haircut just to hear the music.
Museum Night Guard. Discovering artifacts had rearranged themselves overnight. 1956. Ancient Egyptian statues moved to different rooms on 3 consecutive nights. Security cameras showed no human activity, and the mystery was never solved.